in commercial real estate,
Yes.
there is an unfortunately small number of people of color that are in that particular industry. What are your thoughts about being here and that there is a platform created for people of color to be able to grow in this industry of
Right.
commercial real estate,
Right.
opportunities, and getting the word out, and send other people like you who are, doing case studies or actually doing commercial real estate that are people of color.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about, your thoughts as a, female,
Correct.
African American.
Correct.
Can't assume, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I said
listen,
it last time.
no,
She
I'm
corrected me
all-
Puerto Rican. I was like, okay, I'm
Listen,
sorry, but yeah.
You're fine. I'm all for the inclusion. I know there's.
It is increasingly difficult to be PC 100% of the time, but yes, you are correct in those assumptions.
So just talk to me a little bit about, your thoughts on that.
Right. So I think something that really resonates with me when I think about my career, and something that a panelist said, and so you can't be what you can't see. And I think that saying is twofold, right? Because there's what you can envision personally, and I think that there's always opportunity for pioneering, regardless if you see it physically and tangibly within the industry. However, it is always more motivating, in my opinion, and I would lead into an industry with more hope, being able to visibly and physically and tangibly see the representation in an industry that I'm seeking to be successful in, right? Especially at the levels I'm seeking to accomplish, right? Because having diversity at entry level is fantastic, but having diversity reflected in leadership is extremely important, and to me, a true indicator of whether a company is A, practicing what they preach, and B, achieving what they seek to achieve, right? Because having diversity at a leadership level is extremely important, and then also diversity retention. So that being said, like in terms of the motivation, I think it's been extremely salient, but also just the network, right? There are so many people who fundamentally believe in the value system of lifting as they climb, and so being able to just speak with them one-on-one here, for them to know your name, for them to know about you and where you're from and what you value and what you seek to accomplish, and vice versa, right? Knowing where they're from and maybe how you can relate to them, and establishing those more personable relationships rather than, like a LinkedIn profile, or seeing, we went to, maybe we were gonna have the same alma mater after I graduate, but like being able to speak to their personal journey has been extremely important, because repeatedly you will hear that commercial real estate is a relationships-oriented industry, okay? But what does that mean in practice? It means you have to be able to build those relationships, and it is very difficult, especially geographically, to build a relationship with someone in a different part of the country at a different stage in their life. You guys have competing schedules, so to have a designated place to come together and meet them one-on-one when you're here for the same goal, your schedule is already aligned, like it's right fitted for you to really forge that network, is probably the largest takeaway that I will take from this experience.
I was going to ask you about the takeaway from this. Do you have any questions?
Yes. So,
Here, in fact, you can just take my spot.
Okay.
so as we know, the real estate industry is one that's historically not very diverse, and the number of people of color, the pool of people of color is very small.
Correct.
Especially people who are studying real estate on an academic level. So
Correct.
you're probably only one of a few people at Spelman interested in a career in real estate. How has it been to see students at other HBCUs who are also interested in a career in real estate who may eventually be your peers within the industry?
Right. Yeah, thank you for that question, because I do think that peer-to-peer networking is extremely underrated, right? Because senior networking is always great to grow, but I think that lateral mobility is important to look at from a young age too, because I'll be candid, like I don't know what I want to do with complete certainty. And even if I did, it would be largely subject to change. So having a peer-to-peer network and being able to establish mobility from an early perspective, lateral mobility, like cross-industry mobility, is something that I really value, being able to have peers my age here. It's also really affirming to know that while there are senior leaders in the industry now, there will continue to be people of color when I get to the point in my career that I would like to be. The people that I am meeting today will be there with me and be my continued community. I also think you might be surprised at how much interest there is in commercial real estate at an undergraduate level. I think that there's definitely interest. There's not always the exposure, and so that's where programs like this meet us where we are. But even me, someone who I have been fortunate enough to have been exposed to the industry at this age and have experience in the industry, this past summer, I had no idea about Philip Payton Society and a case competition. I was really excited to have a case competition, like an academic exercise in the industry that I'm interested in, because there's a lot of case studies in adjacent industries, right? Consulting and finance, but this is the first commercial real estate case competition that I've personally been exposed to. So being able to study exactly what you want to study, and transferable skills are great, but having that direct thinking and line of thinking in an industry that you want to be in was extremely salient.